Hey, good evening, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live. With me, Mike Ebray, here on several of my social media outlets. Good evening, Bill. Nice to have you along with us. Patrick, always a pleasure. Randy, hello. How are you this evening? Hey, Craig. Wouldn't be Wednesday Night Live without you, buddy. Are you still real busy at work? Or are you pulling down a little bit now? Hello, Jim. Where'd we go? Charles is here. Jim's here again. Look at you, Ed, joining in the beginning. Hey, Mark, how are things in Arizona? John, Kevin, Davina. Not much, Harry. How are you, buddy? My name is Mike Avery. This is another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Hello, Dennis. Hello, Paul. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Brian. Brian's down in Florida. Nice for you. Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer, is with us again, too. Speaking of Florida, I interviewed a guy, John Dirtka, who is the guy who pioneered spearfishing here in Michigan. And he's down in Florida right now. They're doing some spearfishing, but he's also iguana hunting. Check out the video they have on Instagram and YouTube. They're iguana hunting with blowguns. Oh my gosh, does it look fun. Mitchell, how are you? Bernie, Billy checking in from Auburn. Jim from Tennessee. Good to see you as well, buddy. Davina, I'll get to who's on the show here in just a little bit. Hey, Tony, Uncle Johnny. Appreciate you folks being along on this edition of Wednesday Night Live here. My internet is out here at the house. I'm actually using the hotspot on my phone, and it looks like it's a little bit glitchy. How's it look on your end? Hello, Paul. Looks like the video's locking up every once in a while, yeah. But I'm asking my phone to do a lot right now. It's also my camera, and I'm live streaming through it as well. Good for you, Johnny. Hello, Rick, Patrick. He looks good. Okay. Truck looks good, eh? Only thing wrong with it, it's a Chevy. What would you prefer it be? A Ford or a Dodge? I get it. Hey, Louie, how are you? Thanks, Jim. Lots of Midland without power. Okay, so I'm glad we still have power then, and just internet. Mike, what day is it? It's hump day. Sounds good. The video's a little choppy. That's what I thought. That's what it looks like. Yeah, that truck does look awesome. Tomorrow, I'm taking it over to Bay City to a place called Suspension Max, and they're lifting the front end up probably only about an inch. And then I'm going to take it up to Mike's Tire Sales in Caucallon, and they're going to put bigger tires on it. We're going to try to put 35s underneath it. And then I'll be done. Gene, how are things over at the Apex plant? Apex, of course, the parent company of Polar Craft and Angler Quest boats. Hey, Don, I'm just curious. Dan, are you a Grand Rapids guy? Oh, I got a Detroit Lions thing. Okay. January is strange, isn't it? Where'd we go? January is indeed strange. The weather has been the topic of discussion. Oh, look what I found. I'm going to talk a little bit about these. These are some oldies but goodies. The weather has certainly been the topic of discussion because it's not wintertime, that's for sure. And what I wonder now is, at this point, are we going to get winter? Or making a lot of Angler Quest boats? Excellent. Well, you could say the same thing about all vehicles these days. They're overpriced. A blast from the past, indeed. Cold temps are coming. Yeah, well, so's Christmas. But it's a long time coming. So the weather. Are we going to get winter? Are we going to get ice? End gun violence. I'm going to talk a little bit about this. Gun violence. I don't believe in the term gun violence. I wish my video would quit freezing up here. I don't believe in the term gun violence. Violence is violence. Doesn't matter if it's happens with a gun or a baseball bat or a hammer or a knife. Violence is violence. I don't like the term gun violence. I think it's a ploy by the anti-gun people, and I don't buy into it. Two terms I don't buy into: coy wolves and gun violence. Eric, good evening. How are you? Well, Bruce, we're going to have to agree to disagree. I'm working with Garber Chevrolet, the finest group of dealers you'll ever see, and so that's who I'm fine with, or that I'm working with. Hey, Matt, how are you? Hey, Matt, are you going to be able to join us at our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner this year? It's Saturday, March 4th. Tickets go on sale Monday, January 30th. We got a big list. Stabbing in Caro. Nobody called it knife violence. Plus the word assault weapon. Good point. Hey, good evening, Randy. How are you? Matt, are you going to be able to join us? And also, and I'm not putting you on, I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but you did something for us last year. Are you interested in doing that again this year? If so, wonderful. If not, that's not a problem at all. Mental health. Evil is evil. Evil will find a way. Yes, Matt. Yes, I would. Thank you. Very true, Craig. I'm afraid of the same thing, Jeff. That we're finally going to get winter and it's going to last into April. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm with you on that one. Dixie Dave took the sign down at the restaurant. Sad sight to see. Unless you're Dixie Dave, then he was probably pretty darn glad to see it. Yeah, the drawing for the Pure Michigan Hunt is Monday at noon. It'll be live streamed on the DNR's Facebook page. I won, so I'm one of the three winners. Make myself a note here to post about the PMH. So that drawing will be. Garber didn't do the wrap. Garber does a great job, but a place called Sign Image in Saginaw did the wrap. ML, you're 79. Good for you, buddy. Yeah, the drawings will be Friday at noon on the DNR Facebook page. I won. Oh, it's 79 here. I got you, ML. 79. Yeah, Joe, it's going to be a pot shop. I apologize for my video freezing up like that. Again, the internet is out here at the house, but I understand a lot of the surrounding area doesn't have power. So I'm glad we have power, but I don't. Yeah, well, I didn't get notified yet, but I am a winner. I'm glad we got power and no internet. So I'm talking to you using the connection through my phone, the hotspot through my phone. And it's a little glitchy. So I apologize for that, but it is what it is. At least I'm here with you tonight. Yeah, Dixie Dave is going to be a pot shop. Now, the interesting thing about Oscar and Joey's Roadhouse, formerly called the Old Dixie Inn, when Dave first bought it, it was a massage parlor. And then it became a restaurant. And now it's going to be torn down and made into a pot shop. Good evening, Lost Glove. How are you? All right, Johnny, be careful on that Sini stretch. Don't hit a moose. Hey, Chris, good evening. How are you? Okay, so Patrick's a winner too. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. So Patrick and I both won the Pure Michigan Hunt. The results won't be announced until 5 in Cedar. Are you kidding me? Well, yeah, that's true, Bernie. That's true. I was a winner right up until they. Oh, Dan's a winner too. Okay, so we got all three winners on here tonight. We have all three Pure Michigan Hunt winners on here tonight. And congrats to the rest of you guys. I'm glad you were able to join me. I am, Jim. I'm back to 100% now. Yeah, COVID kicked my butt and it kicked my wife's butt too. But we're good now. Jeff, you can't be a winner. There's only three winners. What was Trollville below the bridge? Yeah, down there in Trollville below the bridge. Well, Bruce, I got to tell you, when you pose a question in that manner, I'm not real inclined to answer it because it was kind of rude. I got to be honest with you, kind of rude. Thank you, Mike. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Mike was on the radio. Mike, where was I? I was Sunday morning in church. The head of our elders walked up to me and he said, Mike, I got to tell you, I really enjoyed that conversation that you had with that guy named Mike, the houndsman. So people liked our conversation, Mike. I appreciate you joining me. Elliot says Vassar has 7 pot shots. Hey, good evening, Cassie. How are you? Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But I'm happy for Dave, though. He is cooking for our big Trinity Monitor Wild Game dinner, by the way. Tickets $75 a piece. Obviously, $150 for 2 of them. But it'll be well worth it. Well worth it. Cassie says, Captain Mike, one of the things you can bid on at that dinner is a walleye fishing trip with me aboard the Angler Quest on Saginaw Bay for this summer. So that alone is reason enough to go. Charles said, did you miss anything good this morning? Charles, the whole thing. You missed every word that came out of my mouth was insightful and entertaining. You missed probably the best behind the mic show ever. I love when I'm watching the feet. Oh, hello, beep, lost. I know it. I know it. I know it. Here's what I'm going to do, though. I can. Here's what I can do. I can do this. Now, it's not going to be nearly as good because I'm now using the camera on my. In fact, I can get rid of this now. I'm now using the camera on my laptop. So it's not going to be as good as quality. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. For some reason, the camera on my phone dropped out, but the signal is still good. Okay, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's an awkward angle, and you get to see my jowls here, but good. What were we talking about? Interrupt this program. Let me scroll back up here and see something. I hear you. I was just kind of busting your chops, Bruce. Just kind of busting your chops. Oh yeah, I don't need that. There we go. New comments. Those are all bear skulls. Oh, that's right. You get an interesting. No, they're not all bear skulls. One of them is actually a wolf skull. I think the one right there is a wolf skull. All the rest of them are bear skulls. Glitches are gone too. Oh, okay. Well, then we'll go with this, won't we? Then we'll go with this. Excellent. Oh, the church elder conversation. Thank you, Bruce. No, I was just telling Mike Thorman that Dan Feinauer, the head of our elders, was saying how much he enjoyed my conversation with the radio show with Mike Thorman. Nice, eh, Tim? Yeah. Praying for ice the next couple of weeks. I got ice already. I'm good to go. Bear skulls and a wolf right there. That's a wolf. That one's a wolf. Yeah, I don't necessarily like this angle. And I used to have a little device that allowed me to raise my laptop, but no problem, Bruce. But I have it in the studio. I have it in the radio studio right now. Hey, Lance, how you doing, buddy? Lance Valentine, one of the best fishermen you'll ever meet. Ice and Maker's Mark. Amen to that. All right, so listen, I want to show you something. I'm going to take a little stroll down memory lane here. Okay. How many of you are old enough to remember this? How many of you remember this? And I will tell you this, that I feel like many, many years ago, I was smart enough to actually include my signature in the logo because I thought if my signature is in the logo, they can never take it away from me. So this is the first hat we ever had made up. News 5 Outdoors. And this goes way, way back. Okay. So this is the first iteration. Then we changed the logo a little bit to this. You notice I still kept the signature in there because I thought if my signature is in the logo, they can't take it away from me. Oh, you have one. Hey, Nick. Okay. Smelt video. Exactly, Joe. You're going way back. So there is the next version. Then we went from News 5 Outdoors to Outdoor Magazine. And we changed it up to this logo a little bit. So I had some hats made like this. Just very plain, simple hats. And then the most recent iteration is this. Mike Avery's Outdoor Magazine Radio. So this, all right. So again, we go from this, and this is way, way back, to this, to this, nowadays, this. And there was even, and this is actually a pretty special hat, there was a camouflage version of this. And this was actually my dad's hat. I have pictures of him wearing this hat and holding fish. And now I have it. So I think that's pretty cool. What was in that hat? Oh my goodness. I got one of those hats in the liner. It's so old. It had whatever that is right there. And it just made a mess of my laptop keyboard. I got to blow this off. Hold on. Wow. Whatever that was, it made a real mess. Joe says, that's cool. I think it's cool, Joe, too, Joe. I appreciate that. Mark says, bring some hats to Ohio. I was, Harry. Where'd you go, Harry? I was a young man back then, but so were you too. It is kind of a treasure, Jeff. I appreciate you saying that. It's kind of cool. No, Cliff, I got nothing. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that now. I'll talk about it as much as I can, Rick. That's my next topic of discussion. Thank you, Randy. Hey, Cap. Exactly. Wally's. Really cool. Really cool. Yeah. Well, thank you, folks. I appreciate that. Okay, I wanted to take you down that little trip on memory lane, and I got to figure out which hat it was that just completely. Oh, there it is. Yeah. I mean, look at the inside of that hat. That was my dad's hat. That one's going to get put up on a shelf, and it's never going to get worn. That's a pretty special hat. Vintage, yes. Hey, Tim, good evening. How are you, bud? Nice to have you along with us. Okay, so a couple of other topics I wanted to talk about tonight, including, hey, Jordan, how you doing? But where'd you go? There you go, Jordan. How are you? I am. How are you? Tony, I've got it. I've got it in the drawer right here behind me. In fact, I think it's that drawer right there. A lot of miles on that hat, that's for sure. Thanks, Harry. Now you can get it on your phone. Okay, I'm going to tell you who's on the radio. Oh, that has a smell too. Oh, no, that was the stuff I sprayed off the keyboard with. No school like old school. I can't argue with that. Hey, Brian, good evening. How are you? Nice to have you along with us. I keep looking up like this. I'm sorry. I need to be looking down like you. But then you see my jowls here, so I don't want that. Okay, we talked about the weather. I had a very interesting experience this past week. And I'll start. This is going to get all through my keyboard. If I don't blow it out some more, it's going to raise heck. Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay. My grandson, Carter, shoots for the Midland High School. Oh, my gosh. Now I'm feeling old. Cassie is 47 and enjoyed hearing my voice her entire life. I got to take a screenshot of that. Wow. Whoa. Close preview. Hey, preview close here. You got way carried away here. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that here. So Carter is shooting for the Midland High School trap team. He started out the season last year as a freshman using my 20 gauge single shot that I got for Christmas when I was 12 years old. And that was fine because he learned the fundamentals of shooting trap. He learned, where the birds are going to fly, and he got started, and it was fine. Although I think it was a full choke because it was a hunting gun. About halfway through the season, he says, "Grandpa, I want to use a semi-auto." I said, "That's no problem." We went into my gun safe and we found a 20 gauge semi-auto that my grandpa gave me or that left me. So then my grandson Carter is shooting trap with my granddad's 20 gauge semi-auto. Very cool. Very cool. That's how he finished the season. Throughout the summer, he was making noise about he really wanted an over under, and I just kind of let it go because I thought if he's serious about it, he's not going to let it go and he'll keep talking about it. Well, he did keep talking about it. He decided he wanted a 20 gauge over under, and he decided that he was going to pay for it himself with money that he earned at his part time job after school and on weekends, which I thought was wonderful. He didn't know that I had planned on paying half the gun. So I paid half of it. Well, Denise and I did. And Carter paid half of it, which I think is very, very cool. So I called Gina Cannell at Jay's Sporting Goods. Gina is the manager of the gun department at Jay's in Clare. I said, Gina, we're looking for an over under, a 20 gauge. I want a solid gun with interchangeable chokes, but I'm not going to spend a lot of money. It would be crazy to spend a lot of money on that gun at this point. Um, I mean, I'm not going to spend $2,000 on it. I'm not going to spend $1,000 on it. So, Gina, what do you have? Good solid gun, over under, 20 gauge, interchangeable chokes, not going to break the bank. She suggested a Legacy Sports Acreus pointer. Now, I had never heard of Legacy Sports or an Acreus pointer. So I looked them up online. They're good gun. I mean, not a fancy gun, not an expensive one, but a good, solid, trustworthy gun. So I said, put my name on it. Carter and I went up there last week. We looked at it. He liked it. It seemed to fit him. And we picked it up. He was very happy. I was very happy. Everybody was very happy. The folks at Jay's were wonderful. Of course, I had to do a background check, right? Because Carter can't buy a gun because he's a minor. In Michigan, anybody under 18 can't buy a long gun from an FFL dealer. I think you can buy it from a private citizen, but not from a licensed dealer. And if you're under 21, you can't buy a handgun. So I had to buy it. He paid for half. I paid for half. I went through the paperwork and all that other stuff, and everything was fine. So I posted, I think they're 28, Ed. So I posted a picture of Carter standing in front of the gun counter at Jay's with a big smile on his face with his new shotgun. I posted that on Instagram and I posted it on Facebook. All the comments on Instagram were very nice, very positive. All of the comments on the Facebook page, and we got a lot of them, were very positive, very pro-gun, isn't it nice that you're passing this down? It's a nice thing you did for your grandson. Continue the tradition. You're a great grandpa. Good luck, Carter. Nice, positive things. But I heard about some negative comments that were passed along to the DNR. And they were concerned because Avery bought a gun for a minor, being his grandson. How irresponsible is that? Well, that didn't sit very well with me. And it still doesn't. Yeah, I bought a gun for a minor because he can't buy it for himself. Now, keep in mind, in Michigan, somebody under 18 can't be in possession of a gun, whether it's a shotgun or a rifle, unless they're under direct supervision of an adult. Hey, Ross, I'm going to get back to you in just a minute, Ross. Hang tight. So it's not like he's out doing bad things with that gun. It's not like he's out getting in trouble with that gun. He's not going to have that gun unless I'm with him. In fact, Sunday, I'm taking him and one of his buddies out to the trap range so they can shoot their new guns for the first time. So I don't understand people. When I went to the state high school trap shoot, the state championship in Mason last spring, there were 2,000 kids there. They shot tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of rounds. There was no accidental discharge. There was no negligent discharge. There was no act of violence, not one. So I think it's a good thing to teach these kids about guns, how to handle guns, how to shoot guns, the joy of the shooting sports, whether they go into hunting or not. So I stand by what I did, and it was completely legal, and I think actually commendable. What bothered me, Mike, was they took their complaints to the DNR, and the DNR felt strongly enough about it to pass those complaints along. That's what bothered me. That's what bothered me. By the way, Mike, how are you? Haven't talked to you for a while. Good to hear from you. All right, let's talk about this man right here, Ross Elliott. Ross Elliott, a good friend of mine, you know Ross. He coordinated and basically put on a fundraiser for another good friend of ours, Brent and Tracy Pinter. Good people, good solid people. Tracy's going through going through a fight with cancer right now, and they need a little help. So Ross put together this fundraiser. It was actually last Saturday night. Very successful. We raised a lot of money. But Ross Elliott, who can fish with me for free anytime he wants, I donated a fishing trip with me on Saginaw Bay. Ross bought that trip for $1,600. A fishing trip that he could get for free anytime. Ross paid $1,600 for that trip. That's the kind of guy Ross Elliott is. Ross, a good guy. Good guy. So Ross, I'm honored to call you a friend, buddy. Johnny's back in service. Sound like a cop back in service. Yeah, my first was that. Yeah, way to go, Ross. Very true, Heidi. Well, you had some help in the outbidding. He was on the Angler Quest podcast. He was on the last Angler Quest podcast. Hey, Kimmy, how are you? Yeah, Captain Littlefield was on the last Angler Quest podcast, and I alluded to this morning. I appreciate that, and he will cherish that gun. Absolutely. You know, it's not a $2,000 Benelli or whatever. But who cares? He doesn't need that. At this point, he just hey, where did we go? Bill Piles. There you are. Bill Piles. I want to talk about Bill again tonight. Speaking of good guys, we brought this up last week too. Next October 16th through the 20th, we're going to have another Mike Avery Outdoor Magazine, whatever you want to call it, bow hunting outing for whitetails with Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters, ohiobowhuntingoutfitters.com. This will be the third year that we've done this. And this year, some of the people who were with us the first 2 years aren't going to be able to make it back. For example, Johnny Bowler, he's waiting on a new grandbaby who's going to be born right about that time. So he's going to Arizona to see his new grandbaby. Some of our other hunters, like Craig Plowman, who's on here, are going to go out west and try mule deer hunts or something like that. So the gist of it is I think we've got about 4 openings for the hunt this year with Bill Piles in Ohio from October 16th through the 20th. I think this is an excellent opportunity, an excellent hunt for somebody who has wanted to try an out-of-state whitetail hunt, never done it, was a little reluctant to do it, and you don't want to get screwed by going with the wrong outfitter at the wrong location at the wrong time. I can vouch for Bill. I will be down there myself. I wouldn't be going if I thought it was a bad deal, right? I will be down there. You'll have a chance to hunt with Bill. Bill sets lots of people have said, well, can you bring your own stands? No, you don't set your own stands. You don't set your own blinds because Bill and Joan and Neil have a system and they have things the way they want them. Well, what if there's not a stand for the right wind direction? There will be. On any given food plot or bait or whatever, you can bait in Ohio, there might be a half dozen different stands, all for different wind directions. So If you're looking to do something like this, I think this is your perfect opportunity. Bill's on here right now. Send him a private message or send me a private message or send me an email to mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. I'm not going to talk about price because Bill did cut us a little bit of a discount, and I don't want to talk about that. I will give you the price if you contact me privately. The price includes the hunt, doesn't include your license. It includes lodging, and it includes meals. But the good thing about Ohio is you can buy your license over the counter, or you could actually, Mike, send me a private message on that, and I'll let you know. It is a great time. It is a great time. So let me know if you want in on this hunt. I think we've got about 4 openings. Check out the website, ohiobowhuntingoutfitters.com, ohiobowhuntingoutfitters.com. It's a free range hunt, so there's no guarantee you're going to get an animal. But you've got a pretty good. I can't. Mark, I will fill you in privately, but I can't do it here. Yeah, and Louis says you can buy your ticket over the counter, or you can even get it to make it even easier. You just buy it online before you go down there. It is a really good deal, and I think this hunt is a good deal. So, if you want in on that, Mark Holston will be with us. Where's Mark? Right there. He'll be with us in Ohio. This will be the 3rd year he's been down there. Oh, I thought I heard a little rain hitting the window, but I don't. Hey Tim, always a pleasure. Success rate in the bow hunt. I don't know, Bill. What is it? I would say that most hunters. Joel, I'm going to disagree with you right there. I'm going to disagree. Hunting in a fenced area isn't hunting. Well, first of all, I know you heard me say this, but this is a free range hunt. I will vehemently disagree with you. You say hunting in a fenced area isn't hunting. Not true, in my opinion. Not true, in my opinion. Here's why. I don't care where you hunt. As long as it's legal, I don't care. I'm not going to mandate my morals or ethics to you as a fellow hunter, and I would ask that you do the same. But the reason I support hunting behind a fence is number one, some people just don't have the time, right? And they want to shoot a buck and they want the venison. That's fine. I don't care how you hunt. But more importantly, what I think is the person who goes behind a fence to harvest a whitetail or whatever it is, they still think of themselves as a hunter because they are. They think of themselves as a hunter. So when it comes time to go to the polls and vote on hunting related issues, they are approaching it from the same perspective as any guy who goes out and hunts whitetails on state property. So I support hunting behind a fence, and I think in today's world, to make negative comments about fellow hunters who are doing something legal is a mistake, because Lord knows there are plenty of anti-hunters out there who will do it for us. So I know I can't. There we go. I got to back that up a little bit. That's a little bit for me. I just can't buy into it. Do you see, my friends, as you're watching this, do you see a banner across my forehead that says live with a time like 33:51, the number of viewers and number of likes? Do you see that on your feed? Because I see it. And it'll change the way I frame my shots. Do you see it? Thank you, Jim. It's a 120-inch minimum. There's no point. It's not like a minimum 8-point. You don't see it. Okay, good. Bill has a 120-inch minimum. John says he does see it. 120-inch minimum. No, it's not 112. It's 120. Oh, Kimmy says she sees it. Oh, it's not on my forehead, but you do see it on the top of the screen. Okay. All right. That's what I was asking. Okay. Yeah. So I don't want to do like that. Mark says he sees it. Okay. Okay. Well, then ideally, if I was going to do this again with my laptop, I would push this back a little bit. I gotcha. Well, hopefully, hey Ace, how are you? Hopefully I won't have to use my FaceTime camera. I was using this. Okay. I was using this and an app called Epic Cam that does a wonderful job, but the feed dropped out because I'm also using this as my internet connection because our internet's out. So I'm using my phone as internet tonight. So I got a lot of things going on tonight. Tony, what are you doing in Marquette? Joe's watching us on both. Cool. Okay, so I talked about an Ohio hunt. Oh, it's Mary. Hey, Mary. Hi, Mary. Harry says he thinks the laptop is better. Well, it's better than the phone was tonight. That's for sure. I talked about Carter's gun. I talked about the Ohio hunt. I have not talked about our. Well, that's what I heard too, Jim. We've got it. We've got it. And that's probably why Charter's out. Yeah, the antis cut my internet line. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Right back at you. Good evening, Dan. How are you? Our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner is Saturday, March 4th at the Great Hall in Midland. Matt Schock, I'm going to add your donation right now to my list. Wild Game Dinner, Predator Hunt. Let me tell you some of the things that we're auctioning off here. A Detroit River walleye fishing trip, a whitetail shoulder mount, a predator hunt with Matt Schock, a VersaSkins gear, a year of Michigan brand meats, a UP bear or deer hunt with Johnny Bowler, a Linwood Beach yearly launch pass, a dart and crossbow, an African safari courtesy of Craig Plowman, an Avery fishing trip on Saginaw Bay, an Avery river cruise with me and my wife Denise, some rec broadheads, REK broadheads. And that's just where I'm getting started right now. So there's plenty of reason to be there. Oh man, quit hitting all these things. There we go. Okay. What is this that's bouncing on me? Let me close that out. Preview. Okay, there we go. Oh, Rachel's going to be there. Excellent, Rachel. You serious, Bill? That would be wonderful, but I think we should talk about that offline before you commit to it, Bill. I'm very interested, and I appreciate it, and I may well take you up on it, but let's talk about that one first. But let's just say you have my interest. You're a good man, Bill Piles. Yeah, so those are some of the things that were auctioned. Okay. 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 Dixie Davis cooking. Tickets will go on sale Monday, January 30th. Okay. So I got to talk about who's on the radio show this week. Rich Krazan. You don't know that name yet, but you will. Rich Krazan. Hey, Jim Ferguson. How are you? Rich Krazan was a friend of, you got to be present to win, a friend of Nick Percy from Killer Food Plots. Nick Percy from Killer Food Plots passed away from COVID in October of 21. The dinner is Saturday, March 4th. Yes. Davina, I'm not saying, no, I'm not going to go as far as to say it's not really an event for kids. All right, Bill. Kids are more than welcome. Kids are welcome. Absolutely welcome. I'm just saying it's a long night. It's a loud night, and it might just be too much. But kids are welcome. Absolutely. Absolutely they are. But we don't see a lot of kids. It's mostly adults. Anyway, you don't know the name Rich Krazan yet. He's a friend of Nick Percy's. Nick Percy owned Killer Food Plots. Nick passed away. The future of Killer Food Plots was in doubt. Rich was able to get the company. He's got it back up and running. Oh my gosh, Tim. It went well. It went well. It went well. It went well. But when I find out 20 minutes before I'm supposed to have somebody on the air that they're sick, and God bless, I get him being sick. It put me in a tough spot, but we pulled it off. Yes, I hear you, Joel, but just because you never did it doesn't mean it's not good for somebody else. Like me, I've never hunted bears with dogs, but it doesn't mean it's not a good thing to do. Rich is on talking about killer food plots. Then Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News. Woods and Water News has been putting out magazines for almost 40 years. Can you guess what is the most popular issue of Woods and Water magazine ever published? Make your comments now. Da, 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 da. In 40 years of Woods and Water magazine, what was the most popular issue ever published? Oh, okay. Got you, Ross. Jim says wolves. Louis says the Rampola buck. What else? What do you think, my friends? Mitch, Jeff says. Mitch Rampola story. Winners of the where are we going? Winners of the gun drawing. What gun drawing? What gun drawing? Are we talking, Patrick, about the fundraiser from Saturday? Yeah, they were contacted. Most of you say the Rampola buck. Rick says Fred Bear. Ross said Fred Bear. Did they interview Fred Bear? They probably did. The one featuring Mike Avery. Mike Avery was never featured, which I think is a big mistake, by the way. Yeah, it was the Rampola buck. It was the Rampola buck. Okay, so Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News wraps up the hour. In our second hour, I'm talking with Paul Schlafly of Riverside Charters in Manistee. He's on the river. The question was, in 40 years of publication, what was the most popular issue ever published by Woods and Water News? It was the one with the Rampola buck on the cover. Kirk killing a walleye in Montana. He misses Michigan. I bet you Montana is a pretty cool place to live, though, too, Kirk. I'm not following that one, Johnny. Okay, Paul Schlafly. And you know who his client is on the water today while we're talking to him? Mark Dupuis. Mark Dupuis is the owner of Apex Marine. Apex Marine is the parent company or the owner of Polar Craft boats and Angler Quest boats. So I thought that was pretty cool. Davina, you can't go wrong with Riverside. Paul Schlafly of Riverside does a wonderful, wonderful job. Wonderful job. And then they call him a probationary conservation officer, Steven Seitar, meaning he just graduated from the academy. He's on to talk about what that process is like. And then in the Ask Avery segment, I follow up on this whole thing with me and Carter and some of the legalities of having kids and firearms and how I was not being irresponsible. The Grillo family fishes with them. Phyllis Diller said it. Probably not the only one, but I was certainly one of the few to interview Mitch Rampola on video. All right, bud, have a good evening. Yeah, the Grillo family fishes with Paul Schlafly a lot. And in our third hour, Matt Taggett of Wreck Broadheads talks about wreck broadheads, but also about shed hunting, the search for shed whitetail antlers. They're dropping early this year. And Matt is an avid shed hunter. And of course, we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. So that's what's coming up on the Outdoor Magazine radio show this week. Did I say Outdoor Magazine radio? I meant Outdoor Magazine radio show this week, not to be confused with the original News 5 Outdoors concept. This right here is the franchise that got this whole thing started. News 5 Outdoors. If you're old enough to know what this is, you're old. I'll just say that. If you're old enough to know what this was, and if you saw this on the air, you're old. Yeah, that wrap is very nice, Jason. I love it. The folks at Sign Image in Saginaw did a wonderful job. I'm going to Bay City tomorrow. Dave's old. Joe says, hey, one horn mule deer. Brent remembers it. I'm going to Bay City tomorrow to see Larry Verbowski of a company called Suspension Max. And they're going to level the front end up. They weren't even 5-minute segments, Tim. They were less than that. To bring my front end up probably about an inch. And then that will allow, yeah, thanks, Ross. Ross says, as a kid, I saw it, which means I'm really old. They're going to raise the front end so we can put bigger tires on it. We're going to say Mike Hampton at Mike's Tire Sales, and we're going to try to put 35-inch tires underneath the truck. I don't know if we can do it. They're going to rub a little bit. Scott Keatsman right here of Linwood Taxidermy. He never did an outdoor segment. Dick Fabian never did an outdoor segment. That was always me. Scott Keatsman of Linwood Taxidermy, linwoodtaxidermy.com is the guy who is donating the shoulder mount for our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner. There is a chance he may have a display set up there too as well. But even if not, he is donating shoulder mount. When it first started out, Mike, whose idea was it on News 5? It was mine. It was my idea because I thought there was something there. Turns out there was. Buck Attack, that was crazy video. Yep. That ended up on a, what was it called? America's Dangerous Animal. I don't know what it was. That was on that show several times. Why do you want bigger tires? Because it's cool. That's why, because it's cool. When is Dave going to be on? I worked for him years ago. Dave is on always in the last segment of the fourth hour. No time tomorrow, Johnny. Busy. Joel remembers News 5 when animals attack. That's what it was. I started my career. I can tell you this. My first year, I just was looking at this the other day. Okay, my first day at TV5 was August 1st of 1983, which means I started at Channel 12 in 1981. 81, which means I'm in my 42nd year of broadcasting now. 81, 91, 2001, 2000, yeah, my 42nd year of broadcasting. Kevin used to have a week. Kevin's a long-time broadcaster as well. Where'd Kevin go? Boom. Weekly Fishing Reporter, you and I did a walleye event. I think we did a long time ago, Kevin. I think so. Long time ago. They're factory rims, yes. I tell you, Cliff, I have a hard time. I think and this is going to come across as really cold. I have a hard time risking human lives and spending human resources on rescuing animals that go through the ice. Honestly, I do. I figure if they're that dumb that they're going to fall through the ice, maybe it's a form of natural selection and we shouldn't risk human lives and spend dollars to try to rescue them. That's the way I look at it. And I realize that comes across as very, very cold. Very cold. Scott says Mike put 33s on his F-150. Got to see him tomorrow, too. He runs a great shop. I was going to see him tomorrow, but he says the tires that he was going to put on, he can't get until Friday or Monday. But Mike is a great guy. And so are you, Scott. Appreciate your generosity. Ross has got to go. He's got company. What radio station is on in your new truck most of the time? I listen to the Mike Avery Outdoors podcast. Yeah, they're factory. And why do I want bigger tires? Just because I think it looks cool. And I think I love today's trucks, and I got to go here in just a minute. I love today's trucks, but I don't like the way the front end rides down. Now, I realize why they do that. So when you put a load in the back, it levels it out. But honestly, how many trucks go down the road with a load in the back? So the trucks ride like this. I like how the front end comes up, and I think almost every truck except for a Raptor comes with tires that are too small. Too small. So I like to fill up. I like to lift the truck up, get those wheel wells open, and fill those wheel wells with a bigger tire. Yeah, so he's got company now. He's got to go. All right, my friends, I've got to go too. My name is Mike Avery. The website, Mike Avery. I can't go till we do this, though. I can't go till we do this. Got to do this. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm tall so I can get in the truck. Bring that up. Let's bring that level up here a little bit. There we go. There we go. Okay, what happens now? What happens now? If it was summertime, I'd go on the patio and have a cigar. But it's not summertime. I think I'll put a little make this mark. All right, my friends. Have a great night. Appreciate you joining me. Appreciate your support. And remember, you know what this is. It's probably past your bedtime. Have a good night, my friend.